All right, we are the live. As you can see, hey Quentin, right on. As you can see, I am gonna do my own 2 week challenge. So the 2 week challenge, which I set on Saturday, is um, take one of your favorite gaming and movie characters and paint a scene where you give them some nice update, twist, redesign, and a cool pose. So that is what I'm gonna do. Good morning, Lurib. So I'm gonna do my own 2 week challenge that I've set on Discord. Hey, Bjork. Right on, man. Right on, Bjork. You're right there. Hey, Eric. How's it going? Okay, enough with the pleasantries. Let's start it. So, I know one of my favorite genres of my youth was Super Metroid. So I was thinking I'd love to do another kind of fan art of Super Metroid. And I had this one picture in my head. Like I see her with a foot like really close to the camera and like blasting like really like distortion. And she's kind of blasting pew pew pew. See some butt shooting into the picture. Some creatures maybe exploding. That's what I'm seeing. So let's and I think for this 2 week challenge I'm gonna do line art, I think. Much like the ArtStation challenge. I wanna play around with some line art again and try to kind of set it up, do proper line art and um, colors and so on. But I also want to give Samus some design twist, right? I'm gonna design Samus a little bit like however I like to design her. But this picture in my head, I think I need to be able to see the foot. Let's make it more widescreen. No. Don't do this, Photoshop. Don't you try to switch layers on me. I know your game. I am not gonna fall for it. Okay, so hey Eric Moy. Eric, yeah, in general, the way I set it up is um, I do everything in one line width, um, as I'm known as like the line art master. No, but I set everything up in one single width, and then I go over lines and making them fatter and so on. The problem with doing like all in fat lines or all in one line width. I mean, I know a lot of lines for that ArtStation challenge. I didn't change the line art. It was just all one width. And that's one of the things I would have changed if I would have had more time. Um, but yeah, so one good thing to keep in mind when doing line art is to save ammunition for um, clarity in the read. If everything is one width, it all has a tendency to become just a mass. Hey, Captain Jetlag. Hi. So that's I guess something to keep in mind. So for Samus, I want to obviously I'm gonna do line art, but I also want to design her in a fun way, right? But if you looked at that Discord, I posted a while back some like really exaggerated proportions of Samus redesign that kind of went viral for a while. So I kind of want to go towards that direction a little bit more, like pushing the style, right? And I know that a lot of people are going to be like, that's the wrong hand on Samus. So I'm gonna have to look at what hand her gun hand is actually on. All right, so she has her gun hand on the right hand, so that's correct. And that's one thing I know from doing fan art is that there's so many people who are so diehard fans. They'll shit on you instantly because they're like, that's not because in episode 57 of whatever they obviously said that. And you have to be like berated on how incorrect you are in the lore, and then you just go, but it's just a drawing, come on. Hey Lurib, triple threat, you made it. So that's this picture I have in mind. Like I wanna try to chase this extreme angle. Hugo, kan du komma? Din telefon ringer. My son's phone is ringing. Din telefon ringer. Krista. Gå bort och prata. It was his aunt. My son's phone was mooing. My son is home. He sometimes goes and plays with his aunt, like they go to the park or movies or something. So I really love like the design of Samus Super Metroid with long legs. I think that's a really cool look. And obviously you need to have some sort of design here. She has some sort of signaling some shapes, right? Oh, thank you very much, Triple Threat, for the follow. For all who missed Saturday's special stream, by the way, it was a good one. I was supposed to do paint-overs over the 2-week challenge entries, but there wasn't any. So what I did was I kind of just hung out and sketched around a bit, and what was silly. And for those who want to catch that, is the URL there. Hey, good morning, Guxix. Welcome. I'm glad that you could make it. All right, so I need to have a look at Samus. All right, it has like a red chest segment. Let's just open up a picture so I know what I'm supposed to look out for. So that's Samus, but I want to give it a little bit of my own. Yeah, the stream was very laid back, very funny or silly. Was not like super serious at all. I ranted a bit, talked a bit about things, and that's about it. I drew some weird monster. Hugo, nej, lek inte med den. Nej, sa jag. Du ska lyssna på vad jag säger. My kid wanted to play with water. He's not supposed to play with water on the inside. Should go outside and play with water. Oh, I'm never allowed to do what I want. Yeah, kids. So funny. But I mean, who can blame them, really? Okay. So maybe. Okay. So let's. I think the base pose here is pretty decent, but I want to push it even more. So a safety copy, and then push it to the extreme. Pose 2000, the best pose, X12. There was a period where everything was labeled 2000 as the future, if you guys remember. Maybe you weren't even born yet, but it was like if it was something new, it was like copy machine 2000, which is like, wow, shit, that must come from the future. And then everything, there was a point then when everything that's labeled 2000 was like, oh, it's like Windows XP, Windows 95. It's like, I don't think that's any good anymore. Is that old? Triple threat. You gotta try to. I'm gonna move this same Samus to another screen. It's you gotta try to push it a little bit. You know, it's typical splash screen camera thingy. All right, so I think I'm pretty happy with the pose. I wanna probably I need to be able to show her helmet. I think that's pretty good. That's gonna be the chest. That's gonna be that. I'll add some sort of detail on that one, like that. Okay. Where's the blast? The thing is here, right? Her arm is quite horizontal. I'm not too keen on it. It needs to look like she's blasting into the image, not sideways to the image. So that's probably a bit better. Or, I mean, a straight arm is like aiming, right? But what if she's like blasting from the hip because she doesn't give a damn? Pew, pew, pew. But that's a little bit more like cowboy, right? And this is straight aim. Cowboy, straight aim. But this is like, she is not engaged, right, in the pose. this is way more engagement. Let's move her head a little bit more like that, so that we can get a little bit more screen space for her helmet. Yeah, that's better. Right. Lurib, yeah, you should try. The 2-week challenge on Discord is it's quite an open one this time around. Just pick your favorite character from games or movies. Do a painting or a illustration where you place the character in a cool pose and add your flavor to it if you want. No, it's quite like open-ended and potentially fun. It's fun enough, so I thought, why not engage myself in it? How maybe can you? I need to show that she's like blasting everything, right? So one thing could be that when the line art is finished, maybe I can motion blur the arm, so she's like shooting everything. Gaxix, this that commercial there, spaceship commercials, yeah. Lurib, I'm gonna try the 2 weeks, but I mean, I'm gonna do line art, I'm gonna do background, I'm gonna try to kind of do flat colors, but a little bit more elaborate. We'll see. It's probably gonna end up a quite like splash screen like thing, but we'll see. We'll see where it goes. Pushed back by the gun. All right, let's try that. Let's do a safety duplication, so that if I need to go back, I can always go back. Let's push her back more. Blast that cannon arm. You can even animate it. It needs to have way more motion. Like need to have like the controlling or the dominant lines really correct before I start doing the final lines. It really needs to enhance the motion. There's these 12 rules of animation from Disney, right? Squash, stretch, anticipation, all these things, and they're really important rules to keep in mind, like when um, doing things like this, so that you can cheat a bit, you can enhance a bit, so that when you do look at the lines and all these things, they're extra juicy, um, they have extra impact, right? Like looking at one of their design rules, like the line that is in the motion is straight versus the line that following the motion is curved. So like when you're doing a punch, the top of the arm could be straight, and then the bend comes afterwards in line, so it looks like it has lots of speed flying. Eric, yeah, I think it's a fun challenge. I think it's also an easy challenge in a way. You have reference because you know what they look like. You can just have fun, do something, practice your illustration skills or posing skills, whatever. I think it's a good practice in general. Coccyx, yeah, they're really good, and they're very important. Uh, let's see if I can find them quickly. A quick 12 basic principles of animation. Uh, there's a book as well, but here's the wiki link for it, and you can continue searching for more info. Lurib, maybe do both. Maybe do 3D, pose it, and then 2D on top. All right, so I think the pose is pretty good, but I'm still not happy. Let's go into my favorite toy, Liquify, and let's push even more, which warping can't do, because we need the subtle push and pulls to indicate motion, right? I want her to feel like she's really pointing, so that then the elbow needs to be locked. She needs to really hyperextend the gun, right? Because she's blasting backwards. And the head, I don't like yet. It's a bit odd, but it's getting there. It's getting there. Okay, heel up. And let's try to enhance that pose even more, so that, yeah, that's way better. Yeah, I like it. So undo. It's pretty good pose, but there we go. That's way better. Oh, really, Captain Jetlag? That's cool. Yeah, the 11-second club. We had to do that for animation class in university, or we didn't have to, but I did it for animation class, just to up my skills. Okay. I went to university, and I have like, I know 3D animation and modeling and all that from the university. It's pretty fun in Maya. So we had to study all these things and do animation to sound clips, and it's pretty good. There we go. I like that. Captain Jetlag, yeah, it's really good. It's a fun challenge. Okay, so she's shooting something that's exploding, that's flying into pieces. How about designing some sort of the space pirates, right? That's a part of the lore of Super Metroid, but let's have them, they need to be on a separate layer. Let's have them like maybe swarming through a door opening. I'm confusing myself a little bit here with the perspective. Is it like that? Horizon line, like horizon over there? That has to be removed. Could that be something? Horizon like that? Somewhat. So that means if there would be a door would be kind of like 3-point perspective. Like that. Does that make sense? What? Am I confusing myself way too much? Does that doesn't look too bad? What? Don't know. Oh, that's pretty cool content. That's a great great link to have. Thanks for the URL drop. Okay, so we can't have her parallel with the space pirates, right? Because then we're diminishing the crazy angle. So if the space tube's interior, maybe interior of a spaceship, and choose kind of does she need to be rotated? Yeah. Okay. These things needs to be so mapped out correctly that so that when you do start, it's not gonna be broken. Okay. I wonder if she has cartridges. Should I give her cartridges? She grenade launches them. Goxix, yeah, it's Perspective 2000. Perspective X 2000. There we go. Okay, let's flip it. I love the impact of this angle way more. But it's on the wrong hand. The fanboys are gonna be so pissy. It's on the wrong arm. But this impact of this is just... God damn it. Empty shells. Yeah, but I mean, she has a plasma gun and she doesn't have cartridges. That's the downside, right? So maybe the door exploding up, the space pirates attacking, swarming through. They're like jumping and being blasted by her plasma beam, losing limbs. Someone's face is flying away. And yeah, someone should be trying to shoot. There should be lots of guns shooting out. Let's start using white for effects, so we're on the same page when it comes to what's going where. So they're shooting. Let's have a beam. Let's have a beam behind her, maybe under the arm. Like that, maybe. Maybe hit the ground here. Plasma ricochet. And she's just kind of ripping them up. Yeah, well, I've done enough fan art where I flip the image in the end because the composition is better, and they're like, Link in Zelda, he's actually not right-handed. He's actually left-handed because on page 37 of the Link to the Past book, he's standing with a. It's like, come on. It's just, you know. But it's very important for them. So you gotta pay attention to it, I guess. Captain Jetlag, all right. I'll try to see that blown into the wall. Yeah, like sideways, right from the blast, like in some awkward pose, gun flying. Debris flying around. All right, let's put in some debris. Just kind of suggesting. Yeah, in the lore of the game is like you can have power ups. You have missile that shoots a missile. You have the plasma gun that never ends. It's just a arm gun. She can turn into a ball. Blown off arm in the foreground. All right, let's maybe have an arm flying, like you see the hand like that, flying towards us with motion blur. But the chances, like, it's gonna be too much. Too similar sized there. Let's try it like that. Help that. Right. Hey, Orange AR. Welcome. You're new. Yeah, so I'm doing the 2-week challenge over on Discord, my own my own challenge, and I chose to redo Samus. I love me some Super Metroid. It could actually be a rocket. I think that would be actually a cool thing. Lurib, about you were asking about the shells, etc. How about we do like a blast from her arm, and we could like I could like attach a rocket because it maybe falls out from her rocket arm, and we could have the the reason why all the space pirates are like dying. I mean, she could also be blasting, but also shooting with her rocket. We could have like a rocket trail, and all the space pirates explode. All right, so let's flip the image. It was pretty good this angle as well. Now, here she is the obstacle. Here they are the obstacle. She needs to go to the right. They are in front of her. All right, it works. It works. All right, cool. The first sketch for this is done. Tomorrow I will continue working on the sketch. I don't want to go to clean line art yet because I don't know what everything is, where it's placed, and so on. So I'm going to want to fully flesh out everything before I do line art. But it's on the right direction. I made it a little bit too messy. I need to move things around, but I'll do that tomorrow morning. What is it? Oh, Captain Jetlag, don't go to Spice Girls. All right. Thanks everyone for joining in. Have a good night. Have a fantastic day. See you on Discord. And hey, Water Shallow here. You're back. All right. See you tomorrow morning at the same time. Good luck. See you on Discord. Bye, everyone. Here comes the outro. Oh, Captain Jetlag. Oh, no.